Hello, Thrive Loud listeners. At Thrive Loud, we are always connecting you, the listener, with amazing leaders that are thriving in their lives, their businesses, and their passions. We also have had hundreds of thriving women that have been featured on this podcast. Continuing this important effort, Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, Success.com, and Clubhouse have joined together to create a special series called Elevating the Brilliant Minds of Women. You'll get a chance to learn about these incredible initiatives of women across the globe, hear about how they are thriving, and how you can connect with them today. Enjoy this amazing conversation, and after the episode, learn more about this powerful initiative.
You're probably thinking, my boyfriend said this was a superhero movie, but that guy in the red suit just turned that other guy into a fucking kebab. Well, I may be super, but I'm no hero. And yeah, technically this is a murder, but some of the best love stories start with a murder. And that's exactly what this is. Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond. And to tell it right, I gotta take you back long before Lou squeezed his ass into red spandex.
Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have a business and motivational coach with a passion for inspiring women in the beginning stages of starting a business. She has helped hundreds of women who have big dreams, huge ideas, and tons of passion get over their fears and launch them and their companies onward and upward. Thrive Loud listeners, amp up your business and your game because I bring you Donna Bowling. Donna, how are you today?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for having me, Lou.
Donna, I love people who get people in gear. And really specifically, you have a focus of women that you work with. So what I want to kind of do is understand how this became your gig. Can we do a little rewind and talk about how this space became your sweet spot?
I'm rewinding. What are we rewinding to? The beginning?
No, not to the womb. I don't want to go all the way that far. I want to go to the part where this became your passion, if you would.
Well, I'll just tell you this. This is, I had a major pivot in my career in 2017. I was a casting director. I cast shows on Disney, Nickelodeon, MTV, ABC, Fox, CBS. Like for 15 years, I was doing that. Born and raised here in LA, always wanted to be in the industry. Then I stepped out of casting and was a talent agent for a year and hated it. And so between jobs, I finished my job as a talent agent, and I kind of had a moment where I was like, what next? What's next? So I started a coaching business from home, coaching actors, because it felt like it made sense. Mm-hmm. And I also love the idea of having it on my own terms. Started my job coaching actors, and my business exploded solely from Instagram. So Instagram really kind of like let me get to that next level. And what happened was I wasn't really super passionate about coaching the actors, even though I was good at it and the business was good. It wasn't really like filling my soul. So I ended up getting a lot of questions from people saying, how did you do that? How did you build your business on Instagram? And with no paid advertisement, just like by word of mouth and just showing up on stories. And so I started to slowly help women do that. And in the end of 2019 was when I officially like fully pivoted to business coaching, which then kind of has now really focused mostly on Instagram, helping women show up on video on Instagram. And of course, now I'm using Clubhouse as an addition to that because Clubhouse is the best Instagram growth hack there is. And so my whole tagline now is show up and speak up.
I love it. And I do like this. So I'm going to go with this. It makes perfect sense. You were helping, I guess the coaching work you were doing with actors was literally helping them figure out how they can get positioned to get on gigs and get on roles, I imagine, which is all about their presence, their way they need to be. And here you are coming up with helping people to figure out how they need to be in the social medium.
Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge that you see these entrepreneurs have in positioning themselves to be camera ready, camera friendly, or just marketable? What's the biggest hurdle that most of them have?
Fear of judgment, imposter syndrome, and really low self-confidence in the sense of how they look and how they sound. Most people have that one person that they're scared is watching their stories, whether it's an ex-boyfriend, maybe it's their mom, maybe it's a friend from high school. It's usually some random person. It's usually one. And that person living their own life, doing their own thing is stopping a woman from showing. And I say a woman, I mean, it could be a man too, but someone from showing up and just talking to their audience on stories. There's something very uncomfortable about it. People feel like they don't know enough. People think that people will judge them. Like, how do they feel like they should be in this position? They just started. Like, why do they act like an expert? People don't know. People don't like the way that they look. They feel uncomfortable. They feel, ugly, fat, all the things that women feel when they're just starting out, and they focus too much energy on themselves and not on their audience.
So Donna, this is weird because I'm looking at the dichotomy here. You're working with actors and actresses initially and helping them. These are people who usually are very attractive, good looking, and are camera friendly and are comfortable presenting in others, maybe on how they position. And then you have people that are the exact opposite that might not have those things. When did that connection come to be in your mind? And you agree with me on this, right? Because it is a total different personality set.
Yeah, absolutely. Believe it or not, most actors are incredibly uncomfortable in front of the camera, especially in the audition process. Most actors really only shine when they get the role and they have that feedback, basically, that they know that they're good. But when they're auditioning, most actors, even some that have been doing this for 40 years, really struggle. That being said, everyone's the same. Everyone's the same in the sense of their anxieties and their insecurities. I don't think that, it matters how you look, how you act, or whatever, all the training you've had. It's still that same fear. So it feels very similar, actually. I was doing a lot of mindset coaching when I was working with actors too, not just giving them line feedback,
So let's double click on this a little bit. What's some of the work and some of the things that you do, tips and tricks, not the whole kit and caboodle, because we'll let people know how they can figure out how to work with you. Some of the things that you do to help them better engage across that medium.
Yeah, I mean, I really go through a whole process with my Instagram clients. It's called Amp Up Your IG is my program, right? So I work on 5 C's. The 5 C's, the first one is clarity. It's getting really clear on who you're speaking to, who you help, how you help them, because a lot of people don't really have a full handle on that. And because of that, they are very all over the place. They don't really know what to talk about, so they don't know what to say, and then they don't say anything at all. The second is content pillars, figuring out exactly what you're supposed to talk about. Every person on Instagram should have about 3 to 5 content pillars that they're consistently talking about, so that it doesn't feel like you're just randomly one day talking about the weather, one day talking about cars, one day talking about food. It's like, who are you? What are you doing? The third is confidence on camera, which comes down to I always like the little letters, but my 3 P's for the confidence on camera, which is prepare, practice, and post. Those are the 3. When it comes to confidence, a lot of people think that they can just willy-nilly go at it. A lot of people are not that way at the very beginning. I don't use a script. I do my podcast episodes without a script, without even questions, nothing. I never really have a script, because I feel so comfortable. But at the beginning, I would have. The second is practice. So practice is really getting comfortable saying the things over and over and over. It's going to feel awkward at first. Looking at a phone is not it's not a normal situation to talk to a phone, right? Finally, post. A lot of people are so stuck in that perfection fairy tale. And so they don't press post. So I want them to actually press post and just live and sit in that uncomfortable feeling of what are people going to think? And then finally, to go back to the 5 C's for a perfect Instagram so I have clarity, content, confidence. The 4th is community, because it's so important to have that connection with your people. And the 5th is conversion, which is sales.
So let's talk about the variance of what people post. And I will tell you, I've seen it all on Instagram, because it's quite entertaining. We have some people who will do their personal lives and they'll inject it all into what they're doing every day. We have other people that will do very much like what I do before speaking, before a presentation. I'm about to go on stage, and here we are. I'm giving you the behind the scenes look of what's going on, or the pre-seed. And then many times you might even show client related stuff. And then there's just random shit that comes out all the time. Okay, you're giving some kind of balance of this. Are there do's and don'ts on what you should be posting in your stories? Forget about what your actual profile looks like on Instagram. Is there some kind of rule that you go by more than not?
I really think that it needs to be to your discretion because it needs to be something you feel comfortable with. Some people are just not comfortable showing any of their personal life, and I would never force that. However, especially with personal brands, people are interested in seeing behind the scenes. I don't think I would have as many story watchers if I didn't show my workouts every day. If I didn't show, a little bit of my family, or maybe the wine I'm drinking on Friday night, whatever it is, like the beautiful weather I live in, whatever it is, like that is a very important part for people to feel like they get to know you other than just a picture.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to do a mix of kind of that personal life stuff, a mix of some work tips. I always call them mini trainings. So like once in a while, I'll just say like, guys, today we're going to talk about how I've utilized Clubhouse, just say, and I'll just kind of just spout some stuff out. So they feel like they're growing and gaining value. And at the end of the day, I think it comes down to these like brand values that you have. I want people to watch my stories and feel a certain way. Okay. And so as an entrepreneur in whatever business you are, you want to feel like you're giving them something rather than like a scrapbook of photos, right? Like we don't need to see a random picture of a dog and then a random picture of a coffee. Like tell us a story. Why are you showing that? I never post one thing to my stories unless I think there's a reason that you guys need to see it.
Frequency. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What's a good best practices for those that need to be posting more often, more not every single minute? Because trust me, I've seen the little space of each little 15-second clip. I've seen to the point that it gets so small, the dot, it looks like this could be a week long before I go through it. Tell me what's best practices of what makes sense what's in a certain day or week, or what makes the most sense.
Yeah. You need to show up on stories every day. Every day that red circle needs to be around your picture, or else you're missing the boat. Because what happens is the customer journey on Instagram, they come to your Instagram. The first thing they do is they go and check the circle around your picture. If it's off, meaning there's no circle, guess what? The shop is closed.
Got it.
No one wants to press follow on another person unless they're showing up consistently.
Interesting.
They don't know that you haven't, I don't think you need to post on your feed every day. So imagine if you haven't posted in 6 days on your feed and then you're out of a story in the last 24 hours. Why is someone needs just someone else to follow? People want to follow someone that is there and giving. So every day. And the ideal number is 6 to 10. Sometimes 12. If I have a really big day, like I'm launching,
6 to 10 per day is what you're saying.
6 to 10 little 15-second. Like I like that. I like the way it looks up at the top when I see when it's only 2, it feels like you kind of hardly showed up. When it's 20, it feels like it's too much and I don't have the time for it. There's also a skill in making sure that people stay and watch the story. You want to caption the stories. You want to make sure that you're writing, because like over 50% of people watch the stories with the sound off.
That's true.
I'll watch stories while I'm on Clubhouse.
Yeah. So think about this. So there's the frequency of the number of times of day, but we all know that these things elapse after about 24 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the frequency of the 6 to 10 and how you're spreading it out so that it's constantly rolling over?
So another thing is don't post all your stories at one time of every day. The best thing is every few hours. And there's 2 reasons for that. Number 1, because it elongates the 24 hours, of course. But number 2, because every single time you post a new every time you post a new story, the first thing that happens is Instagram pushes your story at the front of the line. Right. And no one is watching every single person's stories that they follow. You're watching maybe the first few. And if you're seeing someone's face on your home page, when you open Instagram and you see that person's face right there, most likely you'll click on their story more so than if it's like 30 down, right? Unless you're specifically looking to watch their story. So, frequency is important, but every few hours is ideal. Like in the morning and then, midday and then afternoon, nighttime. I
like it. 2 more questions on this, and then I'm going to drive to another angle. One is, actions from doing this. And by the way, I'm assuming, let's just go with this. You finish your workout, you do your workout. How long you're spreading it out over time? Was the workout that we're seeing 6 hours from before, the day before? What's your flow on when that's happening?
I never post real time. Okay. Very rarely am I posting real time because it distracts me from being in the moment, but I film everything. So I'm constantly documenting my life. And I decide whether or not I feel like that could make a good story. But if you notice, so I go to my workouts every morning at 6:30.
Which is like 9:30 my time, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's 9:30 your time, but it's still 6:30 my time. So it's 6:30 in the morning. I go to my workout and then I film it. I time lapse it. And I have two reasons I do it. It's content. And I also get very distracted and want to check my phone. And I will check my phone my entire workout and I won't get as good of a workout. So it really actually benefits me double. And I have a thing that I'm kind of like starting over on my Instagram, like a little community thing called the time lapse hack. And so all my like clients are posting themselves doing a workout or working with a time lapse. And it's cool. It's kind of like giving me more content because they're tagging me. It's kind of cute. It's like a thing. But I will usually record the workout and then I'll come home, get my kids off to school, whatever, drink coffee, and then I'll add it. But here's the kicker. I never just add my time lapse workout. I never just put it up there. I find a good song and I always have a message on it.
Right.
And the reason why is because the workout itself is like, okay, like, why am I watching this? But the message is what I'm trying to do. I'm just using the workout as like a background for some sort of inspiration or some sort of motivation or some sort of like today, like this week has been a really tough week for me for personal reasons, and like vulnerability, I think, is a really important thing to show on stories. People see me and they're like, oh, she lives this like perfect LA life. And with her, her nice like home and kids and whatever. And it's like, I am going through it too, and that's important to show.
One last part to this, and you just tapped into this, and that is we have off days. We have days when we're not quite on all those things. And sometimes
I've had a lot of those recently.
Yeah. And by the way, I just got off the phone with a very good friend of mine who's, long hauling with COVID. I mean, like really in a spot. So I'm balancing this because there's the personal brands, which I totally get. And this is who your message is. And maybe you could tell that story, but a lot of people, this isn't something that is going to be very emblematic of whatever their brand might be. When you're on those moments and that, is it good to say, hey, I'm going off for a couple of days and giving that story why, and is that the good story to come back with?
I have not yet completely disappeared. If I really am having an off day, I will reshare some content of my own, maybe a reel from a few months ago, something that could help them, or maybe I'll find a content piece from someone else that I just want to share, just so that red circle never goes off. But I had a really, really like tough thing happen to me this week. And I'm not usually someone that gets taken down by like emotions like that, but it really did. And I made the decision to share in a post on my feed that I think it was yesterday, 2 days ago, I posted it. And I was just honest. I said, I'm showing up and showing you that it's not always this good. And I'm having a really tough day. And the amount of feedback and messages I got from posting that was so heartwarming and so life-giving, that I'm like, when I have a bad day, it's my job to show up because one of you needs to see that you're not alone in your bad day. And
that's why I look at it. It makes you more approachable as a coach. It makes you more real within the business.
Yeah, I'm not perfect. God, no.
No, you're not. No, you're definitely not.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Lou.
I wasn't going to go there. I'm going to get on the piggyback bank here to make you feel whatever. I love asking this question along those lines because nobody is perfect. And although you do have great days, and most of the days in your business and your clients and the stuff that you're doing every day, you're thriving. But we all have days when we're not quite kicking on all cylinders, just like we're all talking about, like this week. Donna, on these days when you're not quite thriving, who or what practice do you seek to get yourself back on the thriving track?
I have a very good friend who is she's just like my, like a person that I can share anything and everything with. And she's also a therapist. She doesn't offer me therapy, obviously, but she kind of does. And so if I am feeling bad, I need a friend. That's like, I'm like a phone a friend type person, someone that I can really trust, that doesn't judge me for anything that maybe I've done wrong or whatever, but just wants to hear it out and be there for me. I always like to move my body. That's something that definitely helps me. Like if I was going through what I was going through this week and didn't work out, I would be doubly bad. Yeah. Sorry about the dog.
No worries. The dog cast is coming real soon. Don't worry about it.
And then, working. I actually love to work. I like to kind of fall into my work. It distracts me from when I'm having a bad day.
You have a podcast show.
I do.
Share with the listeners the podcast, what it's about and why you started it.
So it's actually my third podcast. I started a podcast a few years ago called This Mom's Life. It was just with a friend. I'd never recorded a podcast. It was before this huge wave of podcasts. This is back in 2016, I think. And it was great experience for me to understand like how to use GarageBand and how to use Libsyn. And that's how I like, you know, I was doing it all on my own. It was hard, but I enjoyed it. And then my second podcast was called The Young Actors Guide. And that was for all the kid actors that I was coaching and their parents. I had about 50 episodes of that. It did phenomenally well. But then when I pivoted my business, I kind of was like, that's done. It's still there as a resource. And then now I have Amp It Up. So Amp It Up is my third podcast that really resonates with me because it's more of a broad topic. I hate when I feel like I don't have enough content, right? So it stands for Ambitious, Motivated, Positive, AMP. And that's kind of my brand. That's all my products are AMP. Amp up your IG, amp up your reels, amp up your Clubhouse, amp it up. I just jumped into it because those are three qualities that I really feel, but also, mirror in other people. Like I see that in other people and I'm attracted to that in other people. So I interview a ton of amazing women from all spaces. And then also I have, like ranty episodes, right? Like I'll have a solo episode for 15 minutes where I just talk about mindset stuff or whatever.
So with this cool audience and this very targeted message, in your opinion, why do they listen?
I think listen, there's two things I think I do really well. I am I'm a fast talker, which believe it or not, I think makes podcasts easier to listen to. I am a good storyteller and I am not someone that is just going to talk just to hear myself talk. That also, by the way, resonates over on Clubhouse. This is also why I think I'm growing fast on Clubhouse. Secondly, I think I ask really good questions. Because I'm not prepared and it's very conversational. And every single one of my guests says that was the best podcast episode. Like it felt so like I was hanging out with a friend. And number three, I think I do inspire people. I think when people listen to my podcast, they're usually like on a walk doing something and they always post about it on their stories. Like that really just like fired me up for the weekend. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Let's do the admin part of the show here, Donna. Share with everybody where they can find you, websites, the social media links, the podcast, all that stuff. We will put it all in the show notes, but it always gets way more engagement when they hear it right from you.
Awesome. So you can find me over on Instagram, which is my number one home. It's at This Is Donna Bowling. Of course, my name is spelled Dana. This is Donna Bowling. And then, of course, my podcast is called Amp It Up. And on Clubhouse, which is my new best friend, I'm at Donna Bowling. I do have Twitter. I do have Facebook, but these three are kind of my home. And my website is myname.com.
Were your parents mean to you that they did this, that your name is Donna, spelled Dana? What is that?
They were so mean. I was born here in Los Angeles at Cedar Sinai, but my parents are Israeli. So in Israel, it's Dana. Yeah. Dana le. That's what they call me. So they thought like, oh, everyone's going to get it, that it's not Donna, it's Dana. But no one understands how to say Dana. So I called myself Donna growing up, you know? So yeah, it's an icebreaker and it's part of my brand.
Look, at least you're not named after a guy that used to be an actor that now we're not sure where he is, be actor.
By the way, Lou Diamond Phillips tweeted at me a few months ago for something completely random. Like, I don't even know what it was. And I love Lou Diamond Phillips because he was in the movie and he sang "Oh Donna."
Oh, that's right. Oh, in La
Bamba.
Yeah. So,
La Bamba.
But the joke about him, by the way, was Lou Diamond was supposed to be on Thrive Loud. And 3 weeks before he got arrested for a DUI, and his media guy called me up and says he's not allowed to talk to anybody, let alone that. He's got an ankle bracelet on. So, get him back on. Go tweet him back and tell him to come back on Thrive Loud and Lou Diamond because we would love to have the chat. Okay. Are you ready for Fun Street, Donna?
This hasn't been Fun Street?
The whole thing has been Fun Street, but I've been having fun. This is like the Speedway Avenue with this. All right. What you need to share right now with our listeners, do you have an all-time favorite movie?
I would say all time is like, it's pretty basic, but it's like Dirty Dancing or Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Okay. And why do those movies connect so much with you?
It's my childhood. Grew up listening to them, the music, everything. Loved.
Which is Girls That Just Want to Have Fun. I know the video, but
Sarah Jessica Parker, Helen Hunt. She enters a dance competition. She gets in trouble. She goes into downtown Chicago for Dance Chicago, falls in love with Jeff.
Obviously, that is your favorite movie. It's not Baby in the Corner. It's definitely this. Okay.
But it also is Dirty Dancing.
We're going to do the speed round here. The way this works is I'm going to say something. I want the first thing that comes to your mind. These are things that lift you up, that motivate you, that make you feel good, that make you thrive. And she's only right about the dog in the background. The dog's
I'm so sorry. And I don't know what to do because
no, listeners need to know the dog is damn cute. He gets the apology, or
my dog is driving me nuts. Is really what's happening.
Ready for the speed round? First thing that comes to your mind. Okay. A song you love to hear or that pumps you up.
Currently I always like Dave Matthews.
Okay. Favorite food that's not a dessert.
Hummus.
Favorite dessert.
Chocolate cake with extra chocolate.
An activity you wish you did more of.
Nothing. Like relax.
I like it. An activity you wish you did less of.
Worry.
If I could snap my fingers, Donna, and you could go anywhere in the universe, where are you?
Right now, this second, I am in Mexico on a beach with a strong margarita, listening to mariachi music, chowing down on guacamole and chips.
Donna Bowling, truly a pleasure to connect with you here on Thrive Loud. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being inspiring. Keep lifting all those weights and doing everything that you're doing every morning. You're making me go to the gym every day. So go kill it.
Am I inspiring you, Lou?
I'm riding in the Peloton in about 20 minutes anyway, so I'm pumped.
I have the Peloton too. What do you ride? Who do you ride?
My favorite. So I have 3 favorite instructors, to be completely honest.
Of course you do.
I've got Kendall is my favorite because she's
my
a badass, and she's from California, so you must like her.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, well, that doesn't hurt either. I'll then go. I've been riding a lot with Matt Wilpers, who is I used to cycle, and he is a professional cyclist, so he's got rhythm and consistency. And then Alex, because Alex literally kicks your ass.
He's love that.
You, who's aside from Kendall, or is Kendall not your favorite?
Kendall's my favorite.
Gotcha. All right.
And then Robin when she's not pregnant.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a little much now. I mean, it was like the baby's about to come out on the bike.
I want to spend those 30 minutes like hardcore. So like I can't do a pregnant workout.
It was the most watched, most common ride when she announced her pregnancy.
That was the best. I watched it live. It was the best. I cried.
Yeah. They've had I think it was over 2 million people have done that ride. Anyway, something like that.
That's awesome.
Donna Bowling, you kick ass. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for coming on Thrive Loud.
So fun to meet you.
Absolutely. And to all our listeners, I'll see you on Clubhouse real soon. It's fun hosting a room with you.
I will hear you on Clubhouse.
You will. You'll hear
me.
We
don't see each other on Clubhouse. This is a really special treat.
You could press my face, up against the microphone or whatever it is. Like smush my face, whatever it is. Thanks again, man.
Have a good one.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. Until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
Thanks for listening to this special episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, brought to you by Success.com and Thrive Loud. To learn more about this great program and elevating the brilliant minds of women, head on over to thriveloud.com or Success.com. And make sure to follow Lou at Thrive Loud everywhere on social media to learn more about this special series. Thanks for listening.